function hash, function hash, function hash, and it just became like.
Hi, my name's Andrew Harvey. I am here with Forrest Chang, and we're talking all things RubyConf, and especially about his presentation there on Opal. Forrest, thank you so much for taking out some of your time in your day to talk with us.
My pleasure.
Now, we wanted to start off by talking about you a little bit, so that people can get a feel for you and some of your background. How was it that you came to Ruby as a programming language, and I suppose also as a community?
Pretty much, Pragmatic Dave said you should use Ruby, and I got a huge mileage out of his book, Pragmatic Programmer, pretty much in 2000. And in it they said you should use Perl because Perl is very handy. And then I went to write like tens of thousands of lines in Perl and really appreciated over the C++ I was doing at the time. So when Pragmatic Dave said, you should Ruby, I looked at it and said, oh, this is like a much better Perl. So it was an easy flow for me. And that was, probably like 2004-ish. And then soon thereafter, actually after doing a project there, I went to RubyConf 05, pretty much gone to all the RubyConfs since then. Actually, I've been trying to get into RubyConf as a speaker since pretty much 05, so sort of like that.
And now you've done it.
Finally.
So, a little more on Ruby. What is it that excites you about Ruby as a language?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much, the whole when Matt says Ruby is there to make the programmer happy. And I seem to think that Matt has good taste because it pretty much makes me happy. So there is pretty much the beauty and the productivity of the language. It's rare that the language or even the community sort of has such a premium on beautiful code or elegance. Right? I think a lot of people, they're too worried about just getting the code to work, so they have no luxury to look at elegance, whereas the Ruby community is into beauty and elegance and testable code and a lot of good things that the Agile guys like, sort of built into the community there.
Cool. So you mentioned that you've been trying to get a talk accepted into RubyConf since 2005. You've finally succeeded, but what was it that inspired you to write and propose this particular talk?
Good question. I mean, I'm always looking for what to propose, and I finally found something apparently interesting enough to get accepted. But Opal itself, I really love the project, and we'll probably talk a little bit more, I guess, on the basis of it. I love the project there, but I think that the title I have there, A New Hope, and pretty much when we look at, say, what I'm calling the JavaScript Revolution, it's a very exciting time in the web, especially in JavaScript. But my problem is the language is JavaScript. And so there's a lot you could possibly say about that, but I think for the person that loves Ruby, you're being forced more and more to do more JavaScript, which is alleviated somewhat with CoffeeScript and some other options. Frameworks like Ember sort of make life better for you, per se, but I think a lot of people feel, oh, I'm forced into this nasty JavaScript world, and I see Opal as a new hope as it develops as a much viable option for you to do Ruby in the browser. Won't meet everything and everyone's needs, but it's an option there. So I think the analogy of that title and the whole Star Wars reference of the last hope and that, which I leverage very strongly in the talk, it was completely appropriate.
Awesome. Now, as people leave your talk, having heard you, what is it that you want them to take with them?
I guess number one, I want them to be aware of what's possible. I don't think people understand how far this project has come. I think most people, if they've heard of it, think it's just a small toy. It's a lot more capable than people think. But I think what I want to leave you is with the potential that we can have. I hope to show some stuff that go, wow, that's really impressive, and hopefully that can take off a lot of the way like Rubinius took off, where the first time Evan Phoenix talked about it in I think RubyConf 06 or 07, whichever the Denver one was. It was just an idea. Next year he came back and it's like, oh, and now we got like 9 million commits from different people and stuff like that. It said, it can really take off. I think the web and mobile is sort of the future for programming, and this is like a way for Ruby to sort of be part of that on more than just the back end side.
Excellent. Now, looking more specifically at RubyConf, or sorry, more broadly at RubyConf, are there any talks that you've seen on the schedule that you'd really like to get to yourself?
Oh, yeah. There's a one about, I think, pride-driven development.
Yeah.
That looks
Conrad
pretty.
Irwin.
Yeah, that one looks pretty interesting to me. I think there's some other ones. That one stuck out. Oh, that's cool because I kind of want to do that same thing but in the browser using Opal. So just the idea is pertinent, but I think my latest interest in Opal fits. Oh, I hope to learn a couple tricks there and to bring that into the browser where it's traditionally never been.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in Miami.
Yep. See you. See you soon.
Thanks a lot, Forrest.
You bet. Bye.